Hello and welcome to the Foxcatcher review. My name's Julian Valence, joined in studio by Racing.com's own Clint Hutchison. Hutchie, how's the weekend been?
The weekend was good. It was a good weekend. I'm still recovering a bit from a couple of the sporting mishaps. The Wallabies getting rolled late.
Yeah.
What did we see with the Sainers? And we followed a really good meeting at Caulfield, I thought, actually, for a winter program. But we're going to dive through all of that.
We are. You were actually out there. So let's get to the track intel for Caulfield. So our 4 metres the entire circuit here, Hutch. Soft 5 all throughout, no changes whatsoever. From an intel point of view, look, we spoke about this in the preview show with Nick, that we thought the northerly wind would impact probably leaders, and we know that happens at Caulfield. It sort of got up to 30, 35 kilometres an hour. So I think the leaders struggled in the shoot races. It seemed to me that the inside 3-4 lanes as the day went on, the jockeys wanted to avoid it. Now, whether that means it was inferior ground, I'm not so sure, but they just wanted to be off it, and that's when you'll see on the replays, 6, 7 out as we go through the races. But other than that, it seemed to play as Caulfield plays, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it played pretty well. I mean, there was a good spread, I think, through the day. The northerly was the big factor for me. Lanes 1 to 17 in the straight. Probably as the meeting wore on, as you said, it just chopped away a little bit on the inside. I mean, Blake Scintillating today said feels on the better side of a soft 5.
Right.
But I think it was a 5. And
No. Yeah. The times, I think, indicate that it was definitely in the soft range. There's no doubt. I don't think it was anywhere close to good. But in saying that as well, when you look at the overall times, there's no doubt, especially the shoot races, impacted by that northerly wind. Because you could see a few of the races, some of the horses didn't want to really push forward. The jockeys wanted to try and take cover. And you could see that was probably an advantage for some of those 1,200-metre races.
Yeah, it makes a messy viewing in some races, doesn't it, where they back off too much. Yeah. And we'll get to that a little bit later.
Yes, we will. That was the track intel for Caulfield this week, punters. All right, Hen House. These are the races that we want to go through, identify. We might be against each other in terms of if you think that race has gone great or good, and you might have it very different to me. But I want to kick off with race 1 for the 2-year-olds here. Winner was Ole Dancer. Now, they bang on about equal to standard time for me here, but the last 400, 200 is a bit that I really love, Hutch, especially the winner probably in particular. 23.04, 11.68. Winner comes home 11.52. I just love the fact that this horse was off 140 days. 1,200 metres, I think, first up is a hard scenario in the first place. But even for 2-year-olds, I think it's even probably that little bit extra layer to it. I thought this horse was really good.
Yeah, I think that's fair to a point. I mean, they're nearly 3. That's the first thing. The other thing is that the first half of the race was very slow. Yes. Yeah. So I think it was a perfect sort of race, really, for most of them. The jury's out a little bit. I could see some nice horses coming out of this race. The overall sort of speed figure's not great.
Yep.
There's 1 or 2 in there that went all right, but not complete.
You're against me here. You're against me.
I'm not blown away by it. I'm not blown away, but I was really interested to see a horse called Order Mystery, how that horse would run, because the jump outs have been horrendous, and this horse ran some nice races in the first prep, and I just think, by the autumn sun, probably gets a bit further, good late, maybe a blinker horse, 1,600 plus potentially. But the jury's out, Jules. Yes. I'm not completely convinced, but I'm not going to knock you either.
I just think that we haven't seen, these 2-year-olds for me haven't been lit up. I think probably later in the season, a few came through and I went, that's a fair number. I reckon you can go wrong with it. Just like what this horse has done. Now, I don't know where it goes to now. It's sort of in a weird spot where it is now, coming back early doors, sort of early spring. So let's see where it ends up. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with it, to be honest. So, I mean, maybe they just pick their way through Saturday class races. There's going to be plenty of 3-year-old races now from August sort of into September. You can pick your way through. So also, first up at 1,200 metres suggests that they think it's going to get further, doesn't it? I mean, not going to start first up 1,200 and then stay at 1,200. So do they think this is a miler horse? Possibly. But I just love the way it went through the line. I love the platform race for it, for these kinds of races where you, as you said correctly, really slowly run race and then they zip home. It just sort of sets them up for second up, third up, and then they can go deep into a prep. So race 1, Hen House for me, Hutch on the fence. Race 2, I think we're in agreement here. We are in agreement. The winner was Pop Award, well inside standard time, a second inside for me. Last 400, 200, really good, 11.64 for the winner. A lot of these horses were first up. Market support was for Verdot. It hits the front. Pop Award comes off its back. I thought it was outstanding, and I think all throughout this race, not huge margins. So sometimes we talk about this and there's not huge margin, goes, the race has already gone terrible. Not in this case. Here's the outlier. This is a race I think we can follow with confidence.
I couldn't agree more, It was a nice ride, a nice win from Pop Award. It had a couple of jump outs leading in, and I don't generally like backing horses off one jump out going into a race. I don't think it's enough, of this sort of caliber.
Yes.
And if they do win, they usually really go on with it in most cases. And I thought that made the difference. I thought at the 100, probably Verdot just was feeling it a bit.
Yep.
And the top two, I think they've got really, really similar CVs actually.
Yeah.
Handful of starts, good winning strike rate, and continues with Pop Award. I think should be hard to beat wherever they decide to go again, and much the same for Verdot, really.
Yeah, absolutely, totally agree with all that. And I think even horses that I'll get to probably with the Fox's Den later on, there's sort of another horse that I want to be with as well, because I just don't think, the 1100 was its go. So horses like Pop Award and Verdot, as you mentioned, was really interesting. We spoke about on the preview show that Blake had been riding Pop Award all through the last 3 runs. Now we know that Cartwright's got a tie up with the family, obviously, with Pop Award, so maybe he's been doing the work on it, and that's why that happened. But it's just so many weird variables you have to go through your head to try and work out.
Do you have any conspiracy theories that pop up now and again?
Some. I've told you that we haven't walked on the moon. I've told you that can't rain sideways. It's people's eyes actually move sideways. But in saying that, there might have been a bit of rain sideways at the MCG in the last 15 minutes of that game, by the way. So
it's when you went to being a flat earther that I really had to take a look at myself.
That Galileo guy's got a lot to answer for, I can assure you of that. Exactly. All right, so races 1 and 2 are in the hen house. There's one more that's going into the hen house. This is from you. Race 4, Stylish Secret.
Yeah.
Slightly outside standard time for me. Last 400, 200, 24, 44, 12, 32. You put it in comparison to race 3 and it's lit it up. Really, it has, hasn't it? You tell me why it deserves to go in the hen house.
I think there are a few factors, and it's interesting going forward where these horses go, because now they turn 4, they're out of their own age group, now they've got to go the big boys. But for that said, a lot of these horses are still pretty well rated in terms of their official rating. They'll go to benchmark races. This race is going to throw up a lot of winners. For me, it rated pretty well. I'll tell you why. There was good speed and big margins, and there was enough beaten. Even a horse like Ant, who ran 5th or 6th, beaten 4 or 5 lengths, was unlucky at Flemington.
Yep.
But you go right through the numbers and it's pretty good. And there was one horse in particular that closed off. We'll talk more about that in a later segment.
Yep.
But I think there'll be a lot of winners out of this race.
The winner went really well, and it's actually come away from him and won really impressively. The only thing I have with the winner is it was 8th run prep. And Williams went on. I think it was a significant jockey change with C. Williams going on, senior jockey, positive, rode at a treat, went great. And I think 8th run prep now. Surely, Paddock. Surely. But it was impressive, wasn't it?
It was impressive.
Yeah. This is going to be an interesting one. You're on the fence race 1. I reckon I'm going to be on the fence here race 4. You're right. There's going to be plenty of winners in it. I just don't know whether it's going to be at Bairnsdale or Flemington.
Hey, just keep following the race. just mark the race down, whatever ran in it. Right. I think down through about 8th, 9th, 10th.
Put CH next to it, please, just with that we're following the race.
We'll check it out in a while.
Yeah, correct.
Right?
We will. We'll forget.
I'm going to get more winners than you because I've got more runners in the race.
Yeah, that's true. That's a very good point. That's the hen house this week. Race 1, 2, 4. Righto, Hutch, for every good, there has to be a bad. For every action, there has to be a reaction.
Is that a song?
Don't know, it should be. It'd have to be something.
I think I've heard that somewhere.
Yeah, okay. Well, you've listened to me a few times. Well, you don't actually listen all the time.
We've gone to Flat Earthers. We've gone to Walking on the Moon.
Didn't walk on the moon.
Didn't walk on the moon.
Yeah. I think there's a song about that.
There is.
Let's get to we've had the hen house. Let's get to the dog house. So the dog house races, the races we're a little bit worried. We think the market might be against them. It might be an opportunity to play around these horses that are coming out of these races. Let's start with race 3, 2,400 metre race, small field, won by Dictionary. A second outside standard time. The last 400, 200, 24, 4, 12, 38. I think overall, I shouldn't be on my own here, that I think this race is going to struggle.
Well, it looked a nice race for Jimmy, didn't it, on paper?
Yeah.
Would you have had to throw at the stumps?
No.
You would have said, like, even though the competition...
connections, 100%. 100%.
You had to have a go, didn't you?
Yeah. For connections point of this is the joy of the Vobis Gold situations. We've seen Darren Weir do it in the past with a lot of his horses, Trust in Augusta. They just turn up every 2 weeks. The Pains have had one. They had Widgie Turf, I think, probably 2 or 3 years ago that were just running these Vobis Gold races. Great for owners, 100%. Mm-hmm. Now, you get to 2,400 metres, you get a small field. Why not? Sits in the calendar, absolutely. But as we talk about this, we might just roll into setting fire to it. Jimmy the Bear for me is a punting proposition. Let's put owners and connections to the side.
Mm-hmm.
Did you take $1.40?
No.
Would you? What you just couldn't take $1.40, could you? Really, when you look at it, and I know he starts $1.40, so what's at 72% chance of winning the race. He's just not a 2,400 metre horse, which is great to say in hindsight, but I think a lot of people were speaking about that at the first. I mean, I thought his last 100 in the 2,000 metre race last start was a concern. Now, they've gone really pretty slow here, so I don't think the issue was the 2,400 metres. For me, 7th run prep this race.
Which I don't think was the factor.
I'm going to say 7th run prep, but this prep has been on the 7-day backup twice before as well.
Right.
So I think that then plays into it.
Yeah.
So this horse, you're right. Enough. So you're right here because 7 runs for this horse, no issue. You know what? In his 2nd prep, he had 10 runs. In his 3rd prep, he had 8 runs. And in his 4th prep, he had 11 runs.
Is that all?
So, yeah, I know. So there's no issue there. I mean.
He's in his sweet spot, Jules.
Correct.
Give me a break.
He's just building. He's just building. So the profile for him is no issue 7 runs. But the issue I have is I just can't, and I'll love to get your thoughts on this. I really struggle to come into horses when they've had a 7-day backup and then be with them after it. So when a horse has had 2 of them in a prep, I loathe to be with them because I just think it takes it out of them.
You kind of know that they're going to come off that sort of peak figure, what they do with the backup, which most do. Not all, but most.
No, yeah, correct.
They very rarely hold that.
Yes.
You know, you think you're going to really get the most out of them on that backup run.
Yeah.
The issue that you have here, and this is what I'd like to pick your brain on with a horse like him at $1.40 or $1.50, you kind of know, I think most punters he's on a 1.5 mile horse.
Yeah.
But like we all know, he's just way better than this
Correct.
horse.
So he doesn't have to be,
does he?
line
it up?
Yeah.
That's the hard part.
Yeah.
Because he's so much better than them and he's nearly won. And to be honest with you, something happened in the race that I mentioned last season. Blake Shin rolls off the fence, provides the opportunity for Dictionary to come through. If he has to do anything else in that race, Jimmy wins it. We're having a different discussion.
Yeah.
How often does Dictionary get that run? How often does Jimmy win it? I mean, you still got to have him short.
Yeah. There's no other way you can. He's $1.40 because he's $1.40. That's what he had to be.
He's probably winning that race way more than what he's losing.
Yeah.
So, I didn't take the price, but it's a hard one. What was his right price?
Well, this is the thing. I think he was the right price, wasn't he?
Right.
I mean, right. Okay. I don't think. I mean, then the next question is, what price would you have taken about him? You know, if you're sitting at $1.80 at the death, you probably go, you know what?
Tempting.
Yeah, it probably is. And if you get beaten like that, you go, well, he's put me right in the race. I've just missed. But it's interesting. He is an interesting horse because, as you said, he's had these preps where he's had many runs. So, as I said, that 2nd prep, he had his 10 runs, but his last 2 runs, he really regressed heavily. In his 3rd prep, he had the 8 runs. The last 2 runs, he regressed heavily. In that prep where he had 11 runs, his last 5, he continued to regress. And now I think he regressed at the 2,000 metres compared to his other numbers, which are at 1,600 metres, which is understandable, and then he's regressed again. So it'll be interesting to see whether they go again in 2 weeks. I don't know what kind of races are around. There could be another Vobis race. Mooney Valley in 2 weeks' time.
Freshen him up, blinkers back on, kaboom.
Yeah.
We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, and then we'll wait and see. I just think the regression started, and this is what happens. He's not going to bounce back. He needs to have, whether it's the freshen or whatever it might be, or they start again.
Yeah.
I just don't think I want to be with him because numbers are suggesting he is just starting to slightly fall off the cliff this prep. But he's had an outstanding prep, so there's
he's done a great job.
What I'll also say is the race, I think, has gone ordinary. So I just think any of those other horses.
It looked that way on paper.
Yeah, correct.
Well,
the market dictated to that as well. Yeah. So that's race 3, Doghouse. Another race that goes into the Doghouse, race 6, winner Vein Champagne here, Hutch. Equal to standard time. 23.92, 12.12, last 400, 200, 11.80 for the winner. What do you want to do with this race 6?
You weren't as harsh on this race as I was. I didn't like it. I thought it rated just sort of mid-range for my stuff. And you have brought this up already, but 3.3 lengths between 9 of 11 runners. That concerns me. Off a good speed. Yeah. I didn't think bar the winner, the closing sectionals weren't really great from a lot of horses. There was 1 or 2 good runs in it. I think Sunsetting was a nice run.
Yeah, it had no luck, did it? It was just sort of climbing over the back of him. And I was actually going to put it into the Foxes down, and I was like, but then I have this theory that you just never, beware of the unlucky runner in a poor rating race.
Yeah.
You know, because the video watchers are going to find it. The market's probably going to find it because it is eye-catching. And it's no doubt it didn't have any luck. It probably should have won the race.
Yeah.
But if the race is rated no good, even if it did win the race, would I want to be with it?
Exactly.
So it's an interesting one.
I'll be taking that race on anyway. I got my queries about that event.
Yeah, that's fair. Let's get to the third one I'm putting in the doghouse. It's race 7. The winner was El Rocco. Quarter of a second outside standard time. Last 400, 200, 23, 5, 4, 12, 2, 0, which was obviously done by the leader and the winner. They just allowed this horse to sort of get away with what it wanted to do. It probably prefers a wetter track, but it was obviously soft enough for what it was able to do out in front, control the speed. And the others just sort of got into sort of no man's land and sort of the bird had flown really for them.
Nice rated ride, a little bit of cushion. I mean, fair play to El Rocco.
Yeah.
It wasn't too many on the day that did what he did.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good
in the
point.
part of the track, kept on to win. And if he finds another wet track, he can sort of defy his official rating to an extent. I mean, that's why I like Munamek in the race because I don't think there was much in this race anyway.
Yeah.
I thought it was a pretty thin race.
Well, I think the market showed that as well. I mean, we're going to get to the hits and misses, but Munamek was well supported. I think ends up starting favourite. But they also wanted to back the import who's got form over 2,400 in France, you know.
What's going on with some of these imports as well? Well, it's probably something we should do a little bit of a deep dive into because I think there's some that they heavily back.
Yep.
But the majority of them go amiss, awry, or they seem to be sort of backing them blind. They had a mile and a half form.
So there's no doubt that bigger players will probably just back them unsighted purely because they're like, you know what? If that European French form holds up, they're going to be too good for our middle distance horses who have, you know, been running around and whatever numbers they've got.
On that note, did you see that Royal Champion won at one of the feature races at Ascot the other day? I think it was. Yeah,
Blinkered.
Belted them.
Did it really? Okay.
So maybe the horses here aren't quite as bad as they think.
No, maybe.
From over there.
You may be right. But you raise a good point because the imports are getting backed more or less blindly, unsighted. And I know the big pros do like to do that because they just think they'll beat us.
Yes.
So we'll get to that horse actually in the Fox's Den as well. I thought it wasn't terrible. So as much as I've got this race in the doghouse, I still think right race, right conditions, there's a few horses to come out of it. And the way it was run, they couldn't do anything else, and I just liked them through the line that they'll be okay.
I'm not convinced. I mean,
what's the latest with yours? What are you going to do with Munamek? Maybe
there's a few options. I mean, he's probably not going to have too many more runs in his career. I mean, that might have been it if he had a one, and then we might back him up. We might in a couple of weeks. I think there's a race at the Valley. He just doesn't fire at Caulfield, so I think
so we stay away from Caulfield.
He won on debut there, but actually every time we go there, he just I don't know. He loves Flemington. I'd love to find a race there, but. If he pulls up all right, might back him up or then go to the Valley, something like that.
Okay. Well, Flemington's this week, so maybe look out for it, punters. The quick 7-day backup. There might be something in the water there. That was the doghouse this week. All right, hits and misses here, Hutch. So let's go through the PointsBet trading floor. Let's identify some horses that were well supported. And the key here is what we're trying to tell the viewers is, stay with this horse, or the reason why it was backed because it was on the backup, it was the leader, whatever it was going to be, that was its day, maybe drop off. Start with race 1. I was on this. I think you were on it as well. It's called Cannyworth. It was $9.50 into $5.50. Runs unplaced. It leads. I think they backed it because it was the fit horse. A few of these horses, Ole Dancer, Cherish Me, were first up. They might have had some, vulnerability about them. Look, it led into the breeze, so you can say, okay, that might have been an issue, but I thought it got away with pretty easy sectionals. It was fit. I thought it was pretty disappointing.
It was disappointing. It was beaten a long way from home. It didn't run anywhere near the number it put up, I think, at Bendigo for me.
Yep, in a maiden.
And that was 1,000, and then it was to 1,200 here. So is that a 1,000-metre horse? I don't know. It won't get me again anyway.
No, it won't. I'm the same. It seemed to have the right conditions, a bit of a soft track, the fit horse. The number was pretty good at Bendigo. It's hard to stick up for it. So, I'm probably going to be avoiding it. Race 2, Verdot, wanted to back it. Shin was on. It was first up. It was $4.40 into $3.10. They miss, but they run second. And as you've identified, because this race went into the hen house, big +7 for me, is that I think it's worth following.
Definitely worth following. And it's just a bit keen in the run. I think presented to probably win. Handled Caulfield really well first go as well. Tracked into it and just tied that last 100 for the reasons I said earlier about maybe just that one bit of work and a bit fresh. So, but it's a nice horse actually.
It's a great race. I think it's a really good race to follow with confidence, to be honest. I think the market really gravitates towards it. So I think Verdot, the market was, pretty bang on. They just got beaten by a nice horse as well. Race 4, your horse here, Stylish Secret, $10 into $4.50, hits deep into the prep. I think big significance to this was Williams going on, replacing, apprentices, and that's not having a go, but senior jockey, world-class jockey.
They have
goes
more experience.
Well,
they get it done.
They're better. It's like anything though, like Nick Dacos versus whoever else. I mean, you're gonna put Nick Dacos on the bench, or you're gonna put him in the midfield with 5 minutes to go. You know where you're gonna put him. So, I don't know what's gonna happen with this horse. We'll see. We'll see with him. I know you like the race, and
I like the race. I think that was his birthday Stylish Secret.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You're deep into the prep
I'm
too.
I'm not gonna be too harsh.
Race 7. I don't know if you want to hear this or not, but you do. It was probably half of yours. Munamek 8 into 5 misses. Runs third, but just the way the race was run.
He ran his race.
And that's his numbers too. Like, I mean, I think I was surprised when the early doors sort of was $7.50, $8, $8.50, even a bit bigger. I was like, off that run that he had, I think behind Jimmy the Bear, it was as good a performance as anything we'd seen in that race. And they just seemed to.
It was strange for me that he went up that price. And it was quite late that he was backed into favourite.
Yeah.
It looked open, but I think he deserved to be favourite.
Yeah.
And I think he probably ran to his mark.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. In the same race, they backed this import, New Look, first up, French horse, $16 into $6, who's unplaced, whose form is over 2,400 and 2,500 metres, and pretty good form, no doubting that in France, whatever that is. And I just think it's
not a big fan of France.
I love France.
You do?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. Done some of your best work there.
It's a good place. Let's get to race 9. Keep you cool. A bit under duress here. 460 into 320. Now, come up an issue. Stewart's report.
With Keep You Cool, pulled up. Yeah, did pull up with an issue. There were a lot of horses at this meeting. Even Jimmy the Bear had, I think, EIPH.
Okay.
Keep You Cool pulled up lame. And I think even it was a true to form in the same race. He
yes.
pulled up with an issue as well.
Yeah.
So it was a day where there was a lot of horses that returned with significant.
And obviously Barrakiel didn't even get to the barriers because
got to the races.
Yeah, pre-race
Test, and they thought that horse. It was a shame not to see him at the meeting. He was probably one of the highlights.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what they do again. I mean, there's plenty of options, but when you go. He's had 245 days off into Saturday, and then he's had that issue.
He's just a horse, I think, and he's an interesting talking point, actually. I don't think you could even back him wherever he went because you hope that they're going to think that he's right enough to go to the races, of course. Every trainer wants that. But, with these issues, it can happen what happened in the race at Cranbourne, the race where it sort of went amiss in the run.
Yeah.
So it's a day-to-day proposition with him. Fingers crossed for connections, but it's a tough one because he's obviously got these issues that have plagued him throughout his career.
Yeah, and he's just got that big number from Moonee Valley, the 2 runs from Moonee Valley.
Horse.
Yeah, the benchmark 84 where he beat War Machine, and War Machine's gone on to be the War Machine and win a Group 1 race.
You were on War Machine that night.
Absolutely was. Yeah. Absolutely.
That's when you just turned around at the camera at the Valley.
Yes, correct.
And you looked like you'd seen someone walking on the moon, to be honest with you.
I couldn't believe it. It was just I was like, I don't think But then Barrakiel went on and won the Group 2 after it and going even a bigger number again. So he's got those big numbers that are going to anchor him. So why he's always going to start, short in these kinds of races, and it's just what the punters need to work out and go, do you want to be?
They might not get any more out of him. I mean, I think you got to hopefully they can get him back to the races anyway.
All right. That was the hits and misses for this week, punters. Righto, Hutch. Now it's time to try and steer these viewers into some horses that we want to follow going forward. We've got a few here too, so let's start with some of the horses coming out of the meeting at Caulfield on Saturday. You wanted to kick us off with frontline action.
I did. It was a race that I liked with Stylish Secret, of course, but good speed in the race, and it was one of the few that came from a long way back. Third last with about 450 metres to go. Really powered through the line with the right stable, Patrick and Michelle Payne. There was a bit of money around for it as well. Wasn't convinced about it pre-race, but I like the way that Frontline Action got through the line there, so I'll be following that horse going forward.
Now, I thought I had this run to myself. I was like, this is beautiful, this one. It's not the flashing light. It's not running through the line. No one's going to find this. And then I see on your notes it come through. Sassy Boom,
good run. You know what, as well, apart from the obvious, close to a strong speed, that's the first thing. Held up at a key stage. Yeah. Actually lost a lot of momentum and rhythm between about the 550 and 400. And presented, kicked, nearly got there. So it was a combination of factors that I really liked the run, and it was on the back of a good run at Flemington as well, and showed to me Sassy Boom doesn't need to lead. Can take a set, settle handy.
It's versatile, which is
really,
what
really
we want.
Good run.
Yeah.
Really good run. It was surprised me how good a run it was, actually.
It was off 21 days, which again, I reckon now we go to 14 days next time, wherever they find a race. fifth up, last prep, fifth up, wins just about its peak run.
Like it.
I think this is a nice one to be with. Sassy
I like
Boom.
it when we're on the same.
I know, it's good, isn't it?
Yeah.
Here's one. Here's a bit left field for you, I thought. Autumn Mystery. Tell me more.
I think it needs blinkers. I think it wants further. I'm not sure about the overall race, but I think it's a 6. I don't know. Is it a Caulfield Guineas type horse? Is it a Derby type? I don't know. It's by the Autumn Sun, but I kind of want to be with it, but I can see it being a heartbreak all the way through because it has no early speed. Its jump outs were horrible, but it's a racehorse. But it clearly wants more ground and probably wants blinkers. But I thought it was a good run the other day over a shorter distance.
Yeah, well, this is the key. So you probably think, well, next start's probably going to go to 1,400 metres, and you're probably like, well, probably too short. And then you may be thinking third up the mile, and then they put the blinkers on, and maybe that's the time to strike. But it'll be one to continually watch.
He's been running the same sorts of races all the time. You know, no early speed, getting home well, clearly wants a trip. Like I said, I'd be sticking with him, but there is a point, and it might be that point where you're going to take too short a price on the day. I mean, he might be one for the futures in a nice race. I think he's got a bit of something about him.
Interesting one there. Racing.com now doing WA races, and you've identified a horse called Yorga Pride.
Yeah, really interesting. I sort of was casting my eye over some of the performances there. Now, this horse was off 174 days, I believe it was. Has now won 4 from 5. They ran time. But the other part that you'll love about this, ran really strong closing sections off reasonable early speed too. So I'm not sure where they go because about to turn 4 years of age, but with the Williams camp,
I saw that.
They know what they're doing. 4 from 5. This horse will be winning more races.
We like that. I'm going back to, I've got 3. Gala Queen comes out of that race that we love, Pop Award. Just don't think it's a 1,100 metre horse. No. Let's get it to 1,400 metres, somewhere like that. It'll keep winning for you. First up, New Look. I want to be with this horse. I reckon it was okay through the line. We'll get a race in it.
It's the France thing.
Yeah, it's definitely yeah. And then we go to 1,000 metre Seymour Maiden winner. Got it going pretty good. A horse called Blethen. So I think I want to be
Red
with
colours?
it. Yes. Yeah, really nice horse. So whether they go back to town, they'd been in town knocking around, but I just think knock off another 64 somewhere. You might even be able to go to Wednesday grade. We get Moonee Valley back, maybe somewhere around there. Blethen, I think, can win for us in better grade. Mate, we're done. We got through it.
Enjoyed it.
Well, I don't know about that, but we got through it. Good to have you, mate. We'll see you next week. Look after yourself.
Yep.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.